So, uh, today I'm going to talk about my eBay buying strategy and what worked for me. And I know that I do advocate for the right to repair, using being frugal and being smart when you buy, uh, especially electronics, laptops. This way, you save yourself money. You can save the environment as well. And so uh, I know that eBay is a very popular, you know, website or platform for used or refurbished computers. Uh, of course, other large websites like Walmart.com offer refurbished computers, and that will be uh, perhaps a little bit more safer way to go. Usually the prices will be higher at Walmart, but I did buy from Walmart refurbished computers, and uh, and I do advocate to do that, especially when you buy from Walmart, for example. I just make sure that I can return the item, and I also use similar strategy as the one I use when it come to buying from eBay. Uh, Used computer can be a great option for buyers because the saving, of course, a used computer is cheaper than a new computer. We all know this. Also, something we never people don't think about often that uh, buying that saving can also be multiplied in many ways. For example, it allow you to buy a better computer for the same amount. So if I have a $250 limit and I buy a refurbished computer or a used computer, especially a used computer that need upgrade, or maybe a used computer for 100 for 200 and need an upgrade for, let's say, need the RAM or the SDD for $50, I can end up with a computer that are very good computer, a few $1,000 computer. While for the same amount you might be able to buy a new computer, but you will have a computer that low spec, a computer that's flimsy, or a computer that you can't upgrade. Like, let's say you buy a Chromebook, you know, or even any other low spec computers you can't upgrade, or maybe you can't upgrade the RAM. These days, many computers you can't upgrade the RAM, but some Chromebooks, for example, you can't upgrade both RAM or SSD. So you can buy a computer that can last you longer, and that perhaps costs you less. Uh, uh, However, you can be conned, so you have to be careful. So these are the few strategies I use when I look for a new computer on eBay. But you can apply those same strategies. But those are what work for me. Um, for example, I read the reviews. I don't read all of them. I just read, I look at them. I read them. I read few of the good reviews, or maybe, and a few of the bad reviews. See if they make sense. But it's good to look at the reviews. And I also, when I buy something, I also leave a review. I usually wait a little bit, but I will eventually leave a review, this way to help someone else who, because if you have a bad buyer on a platform, that affect all the buyers and all the sellers. So it doesn't take that much to leave a review. So, and I try to be realistic about it. Uh, Read the description of the item you're looking for. Uh, Contradictions, for example, I look for contradictions. Uh, uh, a friend of mine asked me to get her. laptop, and when I was looking, it was a she wanted a very light one. So when I was looking for, I think it was a Chromebook, and the seller one, I'm not gonna bring the seller information here, but like the seller had uh, unrealistic spec for that Chromebook because most Chromebooks are 32, 16 gig, 64 gig. He or she, I don't know, had like 260 gig hard drive, had 16 gig. And because I refurbish computers, I know that it was an Acer. Those Acers, you can't even upgrade them. So and it's all, I never heard of an Acer that have 16 gig of RAM. So I looked for contradiction this way. Uh, Another way is looking for a vague or incomplete description. So if this, because sometimes some platforms will monitor what the seller writes. So sometimes if the seller is not honest, we'll try to put a vague or actively not mention. For example, not mention the battery, not mention the screen, not mention anything, just a vague description that doesn't say anything, and just say, oh, just run. So like it doesn't say like, oh, maybe just boot, but that's it. So if you see something vague, and in reality if you see something you don't like in the ad, stay away from it. But let's say you are interested in the item, and going back to the example I was talking about the computer I wanted to get my friend, I sent the seller a message, and the seller stated that uh, he or she don't know anything about computers. Yet the seller at the same time had like 1,000 items sold. So, and most of them are computers. So it's impossible to sell 1,000 items and not know much about computers. So that was a red flag. So stuff like that. So you just have to be careful, you know. Uh, Now, the second thing you need to do is to be able to be okay to update and upgrade both software and hardware. Uh, and when it comes to software, if you have a Linux computer, a Linux laptop, install a fresh software. Linux is free, and in my opinion, unless you are in a school or your job, they want you to have Windows. There is no reason for you not to install Linux. It is in many ways better than Windows. Uh, well, or I would say, in my opinion, 100% better than Windows. If it's a Windows or Chrome um, machine, reset the operating system. There are many tutorials on YouTube tell you how to reset them. This way, and and check the machine setup. Sometimes you open the BIOS, you check how big is the hard drive, and this happened to me where I bought a machine that had the seller had a Windows operating system on it, and had 150 or 180 gig or something like that. And when I opened the setup, the machine had 300 gig of hard drive. So there was half the hard drive was unknown, unfound by the machine, which was definitely a red flag. So the last thing you want, if you just think in case if you have a malware on that machine, is to log in with your information and all this, and have that information basically hacked and sent to somebody else. So what I did, I actually uh, formatted the machine, and and I installed Linux on it, and actually it is now one of my favorite machines. Uh, Test run the computer and see for glitches. If you have a malware, often, not 100%, not always, often, the machine will not run very well. So if the machine doesn't run very well, and even if you reset the operating system, there is either something wrong with the machine physically, with the hard drive, the boot, uh, or the or there is some kind of malware that interfere with the operation. You know, so just check for that. So, but if you have Linux, just go ahead, install a new Linux on it. You know, you can reinstall Chrome operating system if you have a new Chromebook, but if it's not, Google will not let you do that. Okay, have realistic expectations. This is the note. So I have one of my favorite new computers was a computer I bought for me, just for fun. I wasn't feeling great and I like to work on computers, and I bought this old 2008 or 2007 computer, and I I upgraded. I was aware that it's a very old computer. I upgraded. I put if I remember Linux. What did I put? Not Linux Mint. MX Linux on it, and I put SSD, put RAM, increase the RAM, and for some reason this computer now run maybe amazingly fast and very good. I love it. I love that computer. However, despite all this, I know this is an 18-year-old computer, you know. So I have realistic expectation that even though I upgraded both the hardware and the software on this computer, and even though every I actually fire it up every weekend, and despite knowing this, I know it's not a brand new computer. It will still have limits. I'm not a gamer, but if I was a gamer, I would never game on it. For example, its RAM is DDR2. They are even slow. Even the RAM is slow. You know, and I can't upgrade it more than 8 gig of RAM. They don't make any. I didn't. I looked as much, but I couldn't find any. Like I can't upgrade it more than 8, so I can't run like a game on it. But like for what I do, it worked fine. It is, but nevertheless, I know, like, I don't abuse it. I know it's really old, but I bought that computer for me, for because I love that I like those computers, and I always wanted to have one when I was younger. So let's summarize. uh, you're buying a used computer. If you're buying from a site like Walmart, check the check for the return policy, and also use the same strategy we use for other sites like eBay. Check for read the reviews, uh, read the the post itself or the ad itself. See if you see inconsistency. See if you see vague language that you might think it's on purpose. You can reach out to the seller, and then you can also read between the lines from what the answer they give you. If you are really interested in that item, um, be be open for both physical upgrade and and software upgrade, you know. So be open to both upgrade and update the software. Uh, when it comes to Linux, advice install a fresh Linux. When it comes to Windows or Chromebook, reset to default. Check the machine if there is uh, uh, a hidden uh, partition or stuff like that. Check if the machine run well before you put your personal information on it. Um, my advice, of course, is to open the machine too physically to clean it and all this, you know. But not everybody want to do that. I understand, but these things you can do. Yes, they require little effort, but think of it this way: that's time, that's your saving. You save money, you put some little bit of time, you save money, and you don't have to put a lot of time. And be real, especially if you buy a very old computer, even if you upgrade it or and update it, you have a realistic expectation. I hope this uh, small presentation is helpful. I know these things, what I do, and they work for me. They definitely. I bought many computers in the last 2 years, and those strategies, simple strategies, work for me. Uh, I hope you have a good day.